Hi everybody, welcome to today's PSHE where we're going to be identifying steps towards our dream jobs. Okay, so again, this is all part of our jigsaw, and to begin with, I've got a 5-minute mindfulness exercise. The clip is on the website, sorry, the link to the clip. Again, you don't have to do it, but I find it's a really good way of me getting into my PSHE and kind of my calm headspace. And yeah, it's just a nice bit of escapism for a little while. Okay, so why don't you have a go at that? And then when you're ready, come on over to me. Okay. So to begin with, I've got a little fun starter for you. And normally I'd love to do this in the classroom with you guys, but perhaps you can do it at home. So you can see on my screen here, I've got lots and lots of different jobs. Now, these are just a few jobs. There are thousands, maybe even millions of different jobs around the world, okay? But you've got a few different ones here. How could you act them out if you were doing career charades? Okay, so if you were trying to act out one of these without talking, without giving any clues with what you're saying, what would you do? Perhaps being a teacher, you'd get on your best grumpy, stern face. Or perhaps being a doctor, you'd pretend you had something around your neck and you were checking someone's heartbeat and all that kind of thing. Why don't you pause me, have a little go and see if you can either get somebody else in your family to guess what ones you're doing, or perhaps you could also, you could do it, record yourself doing it and send it to a friend or something like that, okay? Pause me and then come back once you've done that. Okay, so hopefully that was just a little bit of fun for you. Next thing is I want you to start thinking a little bit more about these jobs. So, which out of these jobs do you recognise? Now, I think they're all pretty common jobs in that you'll have heard about them lots. There's something now people say, you know, some of the jobs that you guys will be doing in 15, 20 years' time haven't been invented yet, okay? Because jobs change as the world changes, as technology changes. But lots of these have been around for quite a long time and you've probably come across them before. So, is there one that you think is the most important and why? Okay, now, I think when we do this, it's really important to be respectful when we talk about it because everybody has a role. Every job is important, but perhaps you think that there's one that's even more important. For example, you might say, well, right now, especially given how things are at the moment, I think being a doctor is the most important thing in the world because you help people get better even when they're ill. Okay, might be someone goes, well, actually, I think somebody being a professional footballer is really important because it gives people entertainment at a time where people need distracting from things. You are all entitled to your opinion. It can be whatever you think, but just have a think about, yeah, which one do you think is the most important? Perhaps you could just write it down as a sentence for me. And then, second question, big one here again. Do you think that all of these jobs get equal pay, the same amount of pay for what they do? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Maybe what do you think that they get paid? I don't know. And if you don't think that they get paid equally, do you think this is fair? Again, maybe you could just jot down in some notes your ideas, okay? So for example, one of the things that people often get quite cross about is the fact that footballers, particularly the likes of, you know, Messi and I'm thinking there's lots of Arsenal players that get paid a lot of money. When I say a lot, I mean a lot of money, you know, close to $1 million probably a month, some of them maybe more. So footballers often, professional, you know, top level footballers get paid a lot of money, and they certainly get paid a lot more than most doctors and nurses. Do you think this is fair? Okay, and if they do get paid more, why do you think that is? Again, different people have different opinions on that, and that's okay, whatever your opinion is. Some people think that the harder you work, the more you should be paid. Some people think that the more you have to train and study to do something, the more you should be paid. I guess some people argue that for footballers, these people are talented, they have skills that they work on every day, so therefore they should get paid for that. It's whatever your opinion is. That's the idea of these lessons, guys. We get thinking. There isn't really often a right and a wrong answer, okay? So talking about careers and jobs, so that's careers, yeah, it's like a fancy word for a job. Do any of you have an ideal or a dream job? Do you know what you want to do when you're older? Now, there might be lots of different. I know when I was really young, I was like, right, well, I'm either going to be a pop star, a famous female footballer. What else was on my list that I wanted to do? I think I wanted to own a zoo at one point. But whatever it is, there might be more than one, or it might be something that you've thought about a little bit more seriously. Perhaps you've got a specific career path and you know exactly what it is you want to do. Perhaps you haven't quite decided yet. And you know, that's okay. I didn't know that I wanted to be a teacher until I was, how old would I have been? I think 23 or 24 years old. Okay. I always wanted to do different things before then. I'd never even considered being a teacher until something I did. I ended up working with children as part of a project, and I realised how much I enjoyed doing it. So if you're sat there going, I don't know what I want to do when I'm older, that's absolutely fine as well, okay? Because your ideas and your passions, they can change at any point, all right? So don't be worrying if you don't know what you want to do. What I would say is, what interest do you have that could lead to a career in something? For example, if you are really passionate about English and writing stories, could you grow up to be an author? If you're really passionate about the environment and animals and wildlife, could that lead into, if it's animals, could it lead into veterinary? Could it lead into research? Could you be an environmentalist, someone that studies and looks after the world and the environment around us? What might you do? Okay, so get an idea in your head of some possibilities. It can be more than one. It can be just the one. What do you want to do? And then next thing, I want you to think about what steps might you need to take before you can reach this career. For example, again, if we think about being a teacher, there's lots of different routes of getting into teaching. But for me, I went to school, I went to secondary school, I did my GCSEs, my A-levels. I then went to university, and then I had to do an extra thing. It's called a PGCE, which is a 1-year course that I added on, and it meant that I could, then it was my training to be a teacher, basically. So I had to do those steps before then I could become a teacher. There's lots of things. For example, if you want a career in medicine, it might mean that when you go to university, you have to go study a bit longer. It's normally about 5 years that you have to study for that. If it's you want to be a footballer, you're going to have to think about the training you'll need to do, about the academies you might need to join, the different skills and stuff you're going to have to learn and fine tune. It could be that if it's something to do with technology, or I know lots of you are really into YouTube and things like that. What skills are you going to need to learn? What computing skills are you going to need? How are you going to widen your opportunities that way? So just have a little think for me. Maybe you could draw yourself, this would be cute, if you drew yourself a little ladder and you thought about where you are on your ladder at the moment. So you had your dream job at the top and you've got you at the bottom. And what kind of steps are you going to have to go along before you get to that dream job? Okay. Just have a think, and then I'll move on to actually how we're going to put this into some work today. Right. So, as I mentioned, it doesn't matter if you don't know what job you want to do just yet. Okay. The idea is today is all about kind of getting you looking and getting you starting to think about these things. You'll see I've put on the website this page here, and it's all about my ideal job. What I want you to do is you're going to do some research to find out a little bit more about that. Okay, now there's a couple of places you can look. The first thing you need to do is choose a role. Now, there's a couple of places you can look to find information. I'm going to put these website links onto our home learning page, something called First Careers, which tells you all about different careers and how you kind of first get into them. BBC has got a really good set of videos on what it means to be an architect, an engineer, and it just tells you a bit more about those. And then I've also put on online, there's a little document with information. I think it's about 10 different jobs that just tells you a bit more about them. So how much you can earn, what you need to do to train to get there, etc. So if you can't choose a job, you could always choose one of those to research a little bit more. Okay, so once you've decided on the job you're going to look at, you're going to research it, and then there's a few different things to fill in here. So if, for example, let's do this one here, and I'll do it as me. So I'll do it as a teacher. So the job title is going to be classroom teacher. I could do primary teacher. Picture, I won't try and draw with my funny mouse here, but the picture can literally be of anything. It can be of you in action doing the job. It could be of what you think a person would look like, what they'd dress like for that job. It could be lots of different pictures, whatever you want. Job description and main duties. This is basically, what do you actually do with this job? So, for example, for teaching, well, teaching involves, firstly, teaching in a classroom. So, teaching in a classroom, or teaching different subjects in a classroom. But obviously before then you need to do planning lessons. There's a lot of assessment and marking. So marking and assessment. So giving you feedback. And lots of different things like that. And I will tell you, I'm sure if someone had told me that teaching was going to be talking to my laptop into a video, hello, and going virtual, I'm sure I wouldn't have believed them before. But anyway, those are the things. Qualifications. Now, this is actually, what do you need to be a teacher? Now, like I said, there's lots of different routes you can get. But one of the things is a postgraduate, a PGCE, a postgraduate degree. So it's looking about, is it that you need to do your GCSEs at the end of, so when you're 15, 16, do you need things like that? Do you need to go to college and do a particular course? Do you need to get a degree, go to university and get a degree? What is it you need to do there? So for example, it might be a university degree. Now your salary, that's how much they earn. And again, these websites, First Careers and those career cards that I put up, those should be really useful. But you can also just search, how much does a teacher earn in the UK? Remember, we'll do it set in the UK, I guess that'll probably be the best thing. So that's how much, where you'd put how much. And remember, it can vary from place to place. It depends how, so it might be that in your first year of doing the job, you get a certain amount, and then the longer you've been doing it, the more your money goes up. But that's what you'd put in there. And then we've got our steps I need to become down here. And that's, what do you need to do first? And again, you can do this. I'd love a mixture of picture and words. You can just do words if you want, but pictures would be really cool as well. So it might be step one. I am going to go to university and get my degree. So I might do that first. I might draw a little picture of me studying away in a book or something. Next thing, it might be that I need to get some work experience. Remember, work experience is where if you like the sound of a job, you can go and work alongside somebody in that role and kind of see what it looks like. So it might be, so I know for me, I had to get 2 weeks work experience in a school. So get work experience. So for me, like I said, it was in a school. And that was really useful. And then it helped me go, yeah, this is definitely what I want to do. Okay. And then the final step, well, again, there might be lots of steps, but you could do that kind of the main steps, is train as a teacher and get my PGCE. And then I might draw myself as a little teacher down there. Okay. So that was my example. But obviously you all have lots of different hopes and dreams, and it can be whatever you want. I would love for you guys now to have a go. This sheet is on the website, but you don't need it. You can always just write it out. Think about what you want to do when you're older and see if you can fill in this sheet for it. Okay, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear what it is that you see in your future. Okay, good luck, and I will see you on Thursday for our final PSHE session. Bye, guys.